My Submissive Librarian Novella, Filling Her Holes in the Broom Closet. Written by Kathrin Pissinger. Narrated by Nicky Delgado. Hi there, nice to meet you. Since we're about to become intimately acquainted, you can call me Kat. I'm your friendly lesbian kink explorer, smut peddler, and deluxe porn story author. My stories are full of wonderfully depraved lesbian domination, doused with a good dose of peeing, some rough fisting, stretching and hard insertions, anal, and as much vaginal. A little bit of public humiliation, abuse, and degradation. With the occasional spanking and bondage, sometimes coupled with some gratuitous sperm play, in my rare bisexual moments, and of course all of that with lots and lots of beautiful, regular, naughty, and oh so willing women. I know, you're impressed already, right? So before you dive in and delve deep into the story and your own orifices, let me use this precious moment of your time to tell you how you can get some free, select books of mine just by subscribing to my newsletter here. Also included are regular updates on news stories and sales, and the occasional little gift. Yeah, I know, like you needed any more incentives, but that's just how generous I am. Well, let me get out of your way then, so nothing may stand any more between you and orgasmic bliss. Enjoy, Kat. For Eleanor, who I share my lesbian life with. My Submissive Librarian Novella. Filling Her Holes in the Broom Closet. I'm not a terribly big reader, but I do enjoy a good book now and then, and so whenever I find the time I'll visit the local library after work, especially since I've found out that besides books, they've actually got a decent CD and DVD collection. And so it was this one time recently when I was there, browsing through a few books, late as usual, since I can never seem to get off early from work. I had found a few CDs and was now going curiously through a row of self-help books about love and sexuality, just to see if I could find one that would speak to me. Out of the corner of my eye I could see someone standing next to me, but ignored it, thinking it was just another visitor, when suddenly the woman addressed me. "Excuse me," she said, "we're about to close." I turned and looked at her. She was about my height, with a decent round face that was dominated by a huge pair of black-rimmed glasses. Her wavy black hair was cut very high and short towards the back, but got somewhat longer to the front of her head, framing her face down to her chin. She wore a loose blue sweater, so I couldn't see much about her figure, except that she had the widest hips I had ever seen. Her thighs were thick and broad, and to make it even worse, she had squeezed them into tight turquoise leggings. According to the tag she wore on her chest, her name was Novella. I nodded at her. "I'm sorry," I said. "This is the only time I can find to come here, and I must have gotten carried away. I'm just looking for something to stimulate my writing." "Oh, you're an author?" she asked, her eyes suddenly lit up with curiosity. "Ah, author is a big word," I replied, shrugging. "I mostly write lesbian porn." I leaned against the bookcase, resting a hand on my hip, smiling at her as I was watching her expression. "Oh," she said, and then paused for a minute, not knowing what to say to that, but her eyes retained their curious look. "So, where could I find your works?" she asked finally. I laughed. "On the internet," I said. "Let me write down some of the sites you can find me on." I reached for my handbag, trying to get a pen and something to write on out of it, which proved difficult with a handful of CDs. Seeing my struggle, she came closer and held the discs for me. I scribbled a few URLs on an old shopping list, cucumbers and bananas. I remember those fondly. And when I handed it to her, I smiled and leaned in, whispering, "Or you can just find out, right here." She grabbed the paper and looked at me surprised. What do you mean?" she asked. I ran my hand slowly down her sides, tracing her figure through the bulky shape of the sweater until I reached her hips. One hand moved along the front, slowly, towards her crotch, until it rested there, pressing gently but firmly against it. She froze, with paper and CDs in hand, unsure what to do. I took that opportunity and slid my fingers under the waistband of
Sample complete. Ready to continue?